Another video today. So today's video, what I'm going to try to cover for everyone is discuss the glittery market. It's constantly changing all the time. If you ask 5 people what the best thing to buy or what you should get if you're a spender, or even if you're low tier, or you are a just in general, like want to spend something on it, you'll get 1,000 different things. You'll get someone who tells you don't spend on it at all, don't buy anything but red prints. So this is going to be more for the players who are spending a little bit more than the red prints. The red prints are going to cover is about $300. But I will go through every aspect, what I think the best deal is. I know some people spread out what they're buying in certain events. I know some people buy everything, and obviously they're on a different level. But I really want to cover this area of what I think is important. I don't think there's a wrong way to go through it. I think there's smarter ways if you're a certain budget player. I think there's dumber ways if you're not. So just keep that in mind. I think first and foremost, one of the most important things that you can do when we come in here, if you're looking for overall power, I really don't think there's going to be anything that's going to top your red gear. Obviously, your prints and your red gear are going to give you the most power. They're going to give you the increase in your first, second, or third, whatever level you're on, wherever you're at. What I'm also going to try to touch on is a little bit of season two. What I've seen some servers do, talking around different groupings. What I've seen my server do, and what I've seen in the past play on a different server. So I'll try to cover those aspects, those avenues, as well as some other things. I'll go briefly into that. So first, this is just happened to be up, so I will cover this. I do not like the decoration, decorate your dreams. If I was to spend anything on it, it would maybe be a collectively $20 total, and even that I think is a push, because unless you really need any of these, all you're really doing it is for to get this whatever whatever decoration you really want. So like if you don't have any of these, you can obviously go in here and we can switch whatever you want. Majority of the time, very rarely do you land on any of these. Very, very rarely. You probably have better luck of winning the lottery than hitting these. These are just so hard to get, whatever deco you're choosing. Usually what you end up getting is everything except the one you want. So just keep that in mind. I really don't like this game. If I'm going to spend anything on it, it's maybe $5 a day, if that. Like if we come in here and look, I probably wouldn't spend any more than the 20, and that's really pushing it. I'm talking about for the whole event. If you have extra money to spend, you're going to. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it, but I would probably spend it otherwise. Then we come here to this pass. I don't mind this pass. Again, I value what is hard to get. So to me, you're getting tons of shards all the time. Like if you're in season 2, that's when you start to get them, and as you go on, you get more and more. You get them in your sleds. Once you get them unlocked, your reindeer. You get them when you feed Mr. Snowflake, who has apparently a great taste in food because he's constantly wants crazy stuff. So you get them all the time. Again, I look for value. I like to get things that you can't easily get. Tickets and medals you can easily get. So to me, it's really there. So I don't really like that much. Then we come into the glittery market. So like I said, what I love to get, obviously, my first and foremost, what I put on is probably my red prints. Buy those out. Then I would go to the purple boxes. So they're a little bit cheaper. You also have a higher likelihood with all 30 of them, or at least 30 boxes, of getting one of these skill chip URs. You're not going to be sure what it is. I don't like the random ones. If after this, if I still have something left over to spend, I'm not really shooting to get this. I'm looking for overall where I want to build. I really do like these, but again, if I'm budgeting, I'm not going crazy. Some prints here aren't bad. Again, I wouldn't suggest buying the prints, but if you're going and you're pushing this super hard, you're a mid-tier to high spender, and you're going through your blueprints, which you're going to, then more than likely you're going to end up eventually having to buy these. Because when you come in here, I've seen it multiple times, not only myself, but other players. When you come in here in your store, when you really start pushing, you're going to end up, I'll actually do it right now to show you. But I only have one. You're going to end up before this is over. You're going to end up maxing this out if you're constantly active and doing that. There's 7 days left, so you're more than likely going to hit this and max this out. I've seen it done a couple times. I've done it a couple times. It depends when the events are coming around. Obviously, when you do this, so in 7 days, I probably won't end up hitting that, but it'll be pretty close. But if I'm going to spend on anything after those things, more than likely what I'm going to do is go to, one thing real fast. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to get, again, depending on where I'm building. So the blueprints, again, you can get them. It's over time, yes. Honor stores is what I'm going to use them on. I'm not really buying anything else because it really, to me, the value is in the blueprints. But the only thing I would say, these are very expensive, but if I'm pushing my drone chip skill levels and I'm to a certain extent where I need a lot, this isn't bad, right? The reason being is you're getting 5 choice. So for example, I'll come in and show you exactly what I mean, and this is what I'll get to right now, is like if we come in here, right, you can see right here, if I was to buy those, immediately I'm getting to level 5 with this. Without even going into the material I have or anything else, level 5 right away. That's very big because obviously if you're unfamiliar, I should have some videos on my YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out my drone chip skill level chips, when I talk about it, everything works coincide with each other, right? So eventually what you want to do, depending on how you're going to build, is I want to have my chips lined up based off what my goals are, right? So some people will go the shield and defense first. Some people go offense. I like to have a balance. So for me, I like defense first and then I go offense. Reason being, you're always going to have someone stronger than you. You're always going to have someone who's spending more than you, unless you're a mega whale. Then obviously this message I just sent to you does not apply. But majority of the people I see, you're going to see someone that's stronger March or things like that. So just keep that in mind. Me personally, I like defense, and then I go my offense. I'd rather beef up my front, give more time for my back row to allow them to work. And then once I feel that it's sustained and good, I'm going to go there, and then I'll start to work my next squad. Touching on this, I'm kind of jumping all over, but it makes me think about things as we're going through this. I see a lot of people quick to jump to their second squad, and they tend to do it too fast. And the reason being is they're comparing themselves to a player that might be a little bit bigger, spending more money, and they're like, I need to keep up. Like right now, we're semi-age, like age of air right now. So a lot of people are pushing air. Some are trying to go ahead and push missile, which you'll see, and then you'll see by season 3, you'll more than likely see a change to missile, and then it starts to like balance out as we go to season 4, season 5, and then eventually everyone's going to have the weapons shards. So then it's going to really come down to how much you're spending. So you'll start to see that. But what I start to see is people try to like pre-plan too fast. So now they're building multiple squads, and they don't have the budget to do that, right? So if I'm going to build my second squad, I want to make sure my first squad is sustained and I don't have any issues. So that's what you want to look at for those. And again, if you're trying to do that, what's going to benefit you the most is going to be your prints, your regular ones, and your red prints. The reason being is you're going to be using a lot of prints just to get to your legendary prints. So I think some people neglect that. Majority of the time, what you're going to see people run into, I would say smaller players are going to be either will be more than likely either or sometimes usually the prints, more than likely the prints, so they're going to run into the issue if you're free to play or low. And for the bigger spenders, their biggest issue is going to be ore, and it's going to be probably a little bit of gold, but not much, depending on how much you're pushing. Obviously, gold is king in this game because you need to use it for your upgrades for your mastery. You need to use it for your upgrades for your gear. You need to use it for your upgrades for your building. And then you just get your gold starts to spread like 6 different ways. Then when you come into season 2, you have Age of Oil. You're trying to keep up with the players. So it becomes a lot of resources you're burning. So just keep that in mind. But I also going on gear, I don't think it's a bad idea. Like if you're not a high spender, but you're getting a good amount of blueprints, it's not. There's nothing wrong with pushing to 4 stars. Like you'll get a lot of the same benefits. You won't run into a lot of issues. The next thing I would say, discussing for the season, is make sure you guys plan ahead. So a lot of servers have planned this very well in the grouping. Some do the traditional like season one. It's hard to understand season one from season two because it is a little different. But some alliances and groupings and all those servers agree to all work independently. They do it very fairly. They'll do it randomly where they have all alliances breaking apart based off power, and then they'll randomly have each one just choose, let's say, one or two, and choose a random number, and that's where they get a. And they break it up like that. And they battle for everything, and they help each other. That's fine. That's one way I've seen. I will see the traditional way where people become allies, and they kind of pick on the weaker ones, which is most common, and then they'll kind of work together, and then there's like a coalition. Like I said, there's so many different ways that I've seen people play. I've seen some plays where it's a top 3 alliances in all the servers, the strongest ones, and they just destroy everyone. Because, I mean, not destroy, but they start to just beat up on a smaller server that can't handle it or doesn't have bigger players or whatever the case may be. So I start to see that a lot. We're going to see different methods to the madness. But I just wanted to come on here just to touch on a couple of those things. So, to reiterate, glittery market, I would prioritize on my gear. If I'm pushing my skill chips and I'm to a certain level, obviously as I get closer to the 5 stars and higher, I'm going to start to get better perks. So I want to work on uh, completing that, right? Then I would go my blueprints. Once I have some, I would start to work my chips, purple boxes first. If I still have money left over or I'm still spending a good amount in glittery market, I would consider the 1 UR. If I'm going to spend a little bit more, that's where I'm going to go just because I have the choice of it and I don't have to worry about it being random. It's something I really don't need. After that, there's not too much in the store that I honestly would be going out of my way to get. If you're not into season 2 yet, or you're in season 2, Tower of Victory, I would go for. Would I spend it over red prints or blueprints or the things we just discussed? Absolutely not. But it will help you in the long run in season 2. After season 2, it doesn't really play that big of a role in that. It really plays a role right now. Then we have the Decoration of Dreams. Again, I wouldn't spend a lot. Like I said, if you hit the deco you put in there, God bless you. I would play the lottery because, like I said, I probably played this. This is, I think, the 3rd rotation of it coming around within the last couple months, and I don't think I've ever hit the deco, the one that you choose. Very rarely, maybe 1 out of every 20 or 30 spins. Very, very rarely. I would also say just have an understanding of excuse me, what you're trying to do. So, I mean, I think Deco are great, but again, is the value there for that? Probably not. So, like I said, I would keep it between $15 and $20 total. I wouldn't really push any higher than that, just because it's not really benefiting me anything. If you were spending $100, you're guaranteed to get that. I can understand that. But if you were to spend $100, I would say 1 out of every 10 spins, maybe 15, you'd get maybe the deco if you're lucky that you chose. Very, very rarely have I seen myself or other people I've talked to hit it. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Obviously, I feel like it's some type of theory or like some type of equation they have played out where every certain amount of coins you buy to do more spins is going to give you a percentage, because obviously, like I said, you're one that you roll. Very rarely have I seen anyone hit with the deco they have. So just keep that in mind. If you have any comments, concerns, or questions for me, Twitch, Discord, in the game, more than happy to address things. If you haven't checked out the channel on YouTube, I upload all the videos at the end of the month. Subscribe if you haven't already. I also do comprehensive guides for all the seasons as well as advanced stuff. I break it down, obviously too much stuff to go on a video, and I go into more detail. So if you're interested in all that, or you just want to donate, help the channel, watch it grow, contribute to it, obviously the more I have this channel grow, the more I'm able to do more things and give back to others in the game. So All right, guys. Russ the Bus out. Talk to you later.